Ricardo Montenegro, a millionaire businessman known for his philanthropic work, was on a trip with his daughter, Valentina, across the United States. Ricardo had previously been featured in magazines such as Forbes for his work in the retail field and his humanitarian initiatives that helped thousands of people throughout Latin America. The trip was a birthday present for Valentina, who had just turned 18 and wanted to celebrate her coming of age by exploring the country's attractions. That day, after 3 days of sightseeing at Disney in Los Angeles, father and daughter decided to visit San Diego. Although the main purpose was the zoo and perhaps a water park, Ricardo was particularly interested in getting to know a more modest neighborhood of the city, which had a large Latino community. Valentina, on the other hand, wasn't excited about the idea at all. For her, that trip should be full of glamour and fun, and it didn't involve exploring humble neighborhoods. Even upset, Valentina accompanied her father to the neighborhood, where Ricardo bought a small souvenir from a local vendor. Shortly after, they boarded a ferry back to the city center. During the journey, Ricardo noticed that his wallet, full of money and cards, had disappeared. As he checked his pockets and rummaged through the place where they were sitting, he confirmed what he feared: the wallet was really lost. Valentina, frustrated and angry, immediately concluded that they had been robbed while they were in that poor neighborhood. "I told you, Dad. We shouldn't have gone there. These people just wanted to take advantage of you," she protested. Ricardo, calmly, replied that there was still a chance that he had lost his wallet somewhere else and that, in any case, he preferred to believe in people's honesty. When they arrived at the hotel, Ricardo tried to keep calm, but the loss of his wallet, especially at that moment, worried him. Valentina, for her part, was heartbroken, as she feared that her celebration plans were ruined. In addition to the money, the wallet contained several credit cards, which would be essential for the remaining days of the trip. Suspicious and full of prejudice, she continued to insist that they had been victims of a robbery. Ricardo, however, calmed her down with a story from his youth. He told his daughter that before he became a successful man, he had grown up in a poor neighborhood in Mexico City. His childhood was marked by financial difficulties, but he managed to overcome the challenges with hard work and a bit of luck. "Sometimes luck can change a life, my daughter," he said. Valentina listened to everything in silence, still upset with the situation, but touched by her father's words. The next day, Ricardo received an unexpected call. A young, hesitant voice informed him that he had found his wallet and provided an address for the return. Valentina immediately suspected that it could be a trap and suggested calling a security guard to accompany them. Even so, Ricardo decided to trust his intuition and went to the indicated location, taking his daughter and the security guard with him. When they arrived at the address, located in a modest and poorly lit neighborhood, Valentina was visibly nervous. Every suspicious movement on the street made her fear the worst. However, Richard seemed tranquil, remembering his own childhood in a similar place. When they arrived at the indicated house, a thin boy, about 13 years old, appeared at the door with his wallet in his hands. Ricardo got out of the car and, when he found that everything was intact, he thanked the boy sincerely. Valentina, still suspicious, questioned the boy's intentions. To his surprise, the boy explained that he had spent his last few coins to make the call and that he was only asking for $2 to get back the money he used. He wanted to buy a cake for his younger sister's birthday, which would be the next day. The story of the boy, who was called Luis, began to touch Valentina. He said he lived on the streets with his mother and sister, trying to survive day after day. Ricardo, touched, asked the boy to tell more about his life. Valentina, hearing Luis's story, began to realize how hasty she had been in her judgments. When she learned that Luis' sister had the same birthday as her, Valentina couldn't hold back her tears. She then decided to do something special. Still thrilled with Luis' story, Valentina made an impulsive decision. She took $300 bills from her father's wallet and handed them to the boy. "Use this money to buy clothes for yourself, your sister and your mother. And most importantly, buy the cake you wanted. You deserve something special," she said, with a softness that surprised even herself. Luis looked at the money with wide eyes, unable to believe what was happening. He hesitated to take the bills, but Valentina insisted. "Go, take it. It's a gift," she said, smiling. Ricardo, observing the scene, felt a deep pride. Her daughter, who at the beginning of the trip seemed only concerned with fun and luxury, was beginning to see the world in a different way. Valentina didn't stop there. She handed Luis a card from the hotel where they were staying and asked him to take her mother and sister there the next day. "I want you to come visit us. Let's have a little celebration, something we can all remember. And don't worry about the clothes, just show up," she said, in an encouraging tone. Luis, still in shock, accepted the invitation and promised that he would be there. Ricardo thanked the boy again for his honesty and everyone said goodbye. On the way back to the hotel, Valentina was silent, reflecting on what had happened. When her father asked if she wanted to have dinner at the restaurant that had been booked for her birthday celebration, Valentina surprised everyone again by asking to go straight back to the hotel. "Dad, I think we can do something more meaningful with the money we would spend on a night at this restaurant. Let's just go back to the hotel, order a pizza, and plan what we'll do tomorrow. We can help more people, don't you think?" said Valentina, with a determination in her eyes that Ricardo had never seen before. He nodded with a smile, sensing that something truly important had happened that day. The next morning, Luis, his little sister, Sofia, and their mother, Clara, managed to get ready with the new clothes they had bought. For the first time in a long time, they felt worthy, and the excitement was palpable. Clara, a woman with a tired but kind look, was particularly nervous. She had never set foot in a luxury hotel before, and now, thanks to the generosity of strangers, she was about to experience a moment she never thought possible. When they arrived at the hotel, they were greeted with cordiality by the staff, who had already been instructed by Ricardo to treat them as special guests. Clara, Sofia, and Luis were guided to a beautiful garden, where a table had been decorated with colorful flowers and ornaments. Sofia, when she saw the place, could not hide her enchantment. "It's the most beautiful place I've ever seen," exclaimed the girl, her eyes shining. Valentina appeared soon after, smiling and with an aura of happiness that seemed to infect everyone. "All this is for you," she said, as she approached Sofia, who was almost in tears with joy. Valentina had asked her father to organize a small party for Sofia, inviting other children who were staying at the hotel so that they could have fun together. The children ran and played in the garden, while Valentina felt more and more satisfied with the decision she had made. Sofia and Luis tasted sweets they had never seen before, including a huge chocolate cake, which Sofia savored with a smile that seemed to light up the entire garden. Clara, moved, watched the scene in silence, until Valentina approached and hugged her. "I hope this is the beginning of a new phase for you," Valentina said, fighting back tears. Meanwhile, Ricardo talked to the hotel manager, who had organized the whole party. He explained to the manager Clara's situation and how impressed he was with Luis' honesty. The manager, surprised by the integrity of the family in the midst of so many difficulties, made an unexpected proposal. "Recently, we fired some employees of the cleaning team for involvement in petty theft. We need someone reliable to lead the team. If Mrs. Clara is interested, I would like to offer her this position," said the manager, addressing Ricardo and Clara. Clara was flabbergasted. Never in his life did he imagine that he would receive an opportunity like that. I don't know what to say. I don't know if I'm qualified for such an important position," she replied, humbly. The manager smiled and said, "Technical competence can be taught, but character and integrity are rare qualities. His son proved that his family has this in spades. If she accepts, we will be happy to have her with us." Clara, still in shock, looked at her children, who were happy and carefree for the first time in a long time. With tears in her eyes, she accepted the offer, thanking the manager and Ricardo for believing in her. That night, as Luis's family returned home, Ricardo and Valentina talked about what they had learned in the last few days. Valentina was different, more mature and aware of the impact her actions could have on the lives of others. She finally understood why her father was never content to just be a millionaire. The true value of life was in helping others and making a difference. The next day, Clara started her new job at the five-star hotel, feeling like the luckiest woman in the world. Luis and Sofia returned to school with new clothes and school supplies, ready to start their lives over. And back at the hotel, Valentina looked up at the sky, grateful to have learned what really mattered, thanks to the honesty of a boy who just wanted to buy his sister a cake. The following week, the lives of Clara, Luis, and Sofia changed radically. Clara, now head of the hotel's housekeeping team, started her first day on the job with a mixture of nervousness and excitement. The luxurious facilities, which had previously seemed distant and unattainable, were now part of his new reality. Clara dedicated herself wholeheartedly to her new role, quickly learning the responsibilities and leading her team with kindness and firmness. While Clara adjusted to her new routine, Luis and Sofia began attending the local school. With their new clothes and materials, they felt more confident and ready to take on academic challenges. Luis, in particular, carried with him gratitude for the opportunity that had arisen in his life. He knew that his honesty in returning Ricardo's wallet had been the turning point, but he also understood that it was just the beginning of something bigger. The days passed, and the relationship between Clara's family and the Souzas strengthened. Ricardo, admired by the transformation in the lives of Clara and her children, spared no effort to continue helping. He began to visit the family frequently, offering advice and assistance so that Clara could provide a better future for her children. Valentina, in turn, also kept in touch with Luis and Sofia. She had become a kind of mentor to them, always available to listen and guide. Valentina signed up for a volunteer program at the children's school, helping them with their studies and organizing extracurricular activities. What was once just a simple act of kindness turned into a personal mission for her. One day, while they were in the hotel garden, Valentina and Luis had a heart-to-heart conversation. Luis, now more confident, expressed his desire to study so that one day he could repay all the help he and his family had received. "I want to be like you and your father, Valentina. I want to help people, make a difference," he said, his eyes full of determination. Valentina smiled, feeling immense pride for the young man in front of her. "You are already making a difference, Luis. The honesty you showed that day changed everything. Never forget that it's the small actions that shape the future. And I know you'll achieve everything you dream of," she replied, holding his hands with affection. Meanwhile, Ricardo was in his office, planning a new philanthropy campaign. Inspired by the transformation in the lives of Clara and her children, he decided to expand his actions to help more families in vulnerable situations. He knew that Luis' story was not unique, and that there were many other children with potential, just waiting for an opportunity to shine. Ricardo gathered his team and launched a new project, focused on providing education and financial support to promising young people from underserved communities. The initiative not only offered scholarships, but also mentorship programs, where successful professionals, like him and Valentina, could mentor young people and help them achieve their goals. As time went by, Ricardo's project began to gain strength and recognition. Several young people benefited, and many began to follow in Luis' footsteps, using the opportunities offered to transform their lives and those of their families. Clara, Luis, and Sofia, in turn, continued to prosper. Clara became an exemplary employee, being promoted within the hotel and earning the respect and admiration of her colleagues. Luis, determined as always, excelled in his studies, dreaming bigger and bigger. And Sofia, with her contagious joy, brought light and happiness to everyone around her. Ricardo and Valentina, proud of the changes they had helped to bring about, knew that they had done more than simply help a family in need. They had planted seeds of hope and inspiration, which would flourish and spread, impacting lives in ways they could never have imagined. The trip, which had begun as a simple birthday celebration, turned into a journey of self-discovery and fulfillment. Valentina, who once saw the world through the lens of privilege, now saw the beauty in small actions and compassion for others. Ricardo, in turn, reaffirmed his life mission, to use his fortune and influence to create a more just and generous world. And so, at the end of it all, Ricardo and Valentina continued their journey, not only on the roads of the United States, but also on the path of personal transformation. they returned home different, with hearts full of gratitude and renewed purpose, ready to continue making a difference wherever they went. As for Luis, Clara, and Sofia, their lives were just beginning. And with the support of their new friends, they were ready to take on any challenge that lay ahead, knowing that with determination and kindness, the future held wonderful things for them.